Greetings, people of the internet. This is Scott with CircWorks, welcoming you to day 3 of 100 Days of Making Comics, a video journal in which I set aside time in my schedule to make room for my own personal comic book projects. What did I do today? Well, if you were watching yesterday, we were talking about brainstorming, idea generating, and then we talked a little bit about mind maps. Kind of interesting stuff. Again, it's a really interesting way of taking notes. So I did a little more of that. Right now I'm just fleshing out ideas for the 3rd issue in my series, Young and the Dead. These are the first 2 issues. So for me anyway, I'm 2 issues in, so I've kind of established the characters. I kind of have a general idea where the story's going. This issue I'm going to introduce some new characters, some new theory behind this. This is a zombie story. It's kind of a kids versus zombies. There's a virus, and that virus has certain characteristics. Has a lot of the normal tropes you would expect from a zombie virus from any kind of zombie film you've seen. But there are a few differences, and I'm gradually introducing some of those ideas, and that's going to help inform the story. So that's kind of what I'm working on now. I've got an idea. Well, let me rewind for a minute, because I know a lot of you folks that are working on stories are probably starting off. There's a lot of other people doing this 100-day challenge, and they're starting with a brand new story. My case is a little different, so maybe I should backtrack and go back to when I was first coming up with the idea for my story. That might help anyone who's watching this in generating your own ideas. So first, you want to come up with an idea. What's your idea? For me, as I talked in the first episode, it really started off something that I was just going to do quick, because I was thinking zombies, that's an easy story to tell. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to approach it, but in general, everyone knows zombies, everyone can relate to it. So I could tell a real quick story, and then once I got into that story, I really started liking it, and I really found out that it was more than just your typical zombie story. Had a lot to do with the characters and everything like that. So anyway, my first idea was, again, well, what if we do like a kind of a Goonies meets Night of the Living Dead? And that's my elevator pitch. And it's a lot more in line with Goonies than Night of the Living Dead. It has zombies in it. There's some more similarities, but it's not a horror film. It's more of an all ages kind of story. It follows that format of like Goonies or Monster Squad or those type of movies. So where do we go from there? In my case, I'm working off 2 different ideas: the Goonies, the Night of the Living Dead. What about those 2 things appeal to me? With Goonies, there's the whole, hidden treasure angle. They find a map, they're going to find, they got to find this hidden treasure. There's, gangsters after them. There's all this, there's pirates. So a lot of cool stuff, but I think what appeals mostly to me is the characters themselves, the kids. It goes back to me hanging out with my friends, and it's segue. It's unfortunate there's not a lot of movies like that anymore. I mean, I guess there was Super 8, great movie, but that's kind of one in the last I don't know how many years. So I'd like to see more movies like that. But so the characters. I really like those characters. The pirates, all that stuff's cool, but I'm not duplicating Goonies. So let's replace pirates with zombies. Give them a different threat. There's the whole hidden treasure angle. With me, the kids are kind of presented with this box of files, and in that are they have to kind of decipher some of the secrets to how to reverse this zombie plague, and they have to get this box to someone at this location. So that's kind of where I took one idea and I kind of changed things around, and generally it kind of made it my own in a way. And it goes. There's more to it than that. But we're building ideas. Night of the Living Dead, the one the general idea of that story is that they're trapped in this house and they're surrounded by zombies. There's really no way out. They get into this basement. So I mean, it's pretty dark and there's really there's doesn't seem like there's a lot of hope for them. Of course, it's a horror movie, so without spoiling too much, I mean, there's not a happy ending, which my story is a kid's story, so there may be a happy ending, or it's not going to be that bleak. But anyway, so with that, I like that idea of them, the people in Night of the Living Dead being in this house surrounded by this threat that's just this constant threat that they really have no escape from. So how does that relate to kids? What can I kind of do to change that around? And I thought, well, what if they're in a treehouse? What if they run up to escape in this treehouse and then it's surrounded by zombies? Where they go? They can't. There's really no exit but down. So those are some examples of where I took this concept from somewhere else, and it all kind of goes back to this. You hear this quote, "There's no original ideas," which in a lot of ways is true. So I mean, people may say, well, Avatar, that's just Pocahontas in space, or Ferngully or something like that. But I would defend that by saying, well, has that really been done before? I mean, that's a story I'd like to see. I'd like to see that kind of story in space. And so whatever your thought is on that movie or that, I like taking other ideas and kind of reimagining them and seeing how you can approach something from a different angle. But anyway, so that's one of the ways you can develop your idea. Kind of going back to, I guess, what this whole thing is about, this 100 days, setting aside at least 30 minutes a day to work on your comics. So let's talk about what I worked on today. Again, working on more just brainstorming. We're still in the beginning sketches, and even though I've established a lot, because this is the third issue of my story, there's always new things to think about, new challenges to overcome. One of those challenges I found is that my story is kind of lacking this sense of urgency. I'm going to go back to the Goonies example again. Sure, they've got this treasure map. They've got to find this gold. That's cool. But, you've always heard these stories about these people that are searching for treasures for years and years and years. I mean, so what's the urgency? I mean, it's cool that they're going to find that, but we kind of have to up the stakes. I mean, to make it more interesting. So what's the sense of urgency? Well, there's this evil developer that's going to bulldoze the Goondocks where they live, and if they don't raise the money in a certain amount of time, it's over, game over, So that's gonna propel the story, make it go quicker. They have to do this by this set of time, or else that's the end. So anyway, this whole conceit of the evil developer foreclosing on the houses, this gives the Goonies a reason to take this map, go find that treasure so they can pay off the property taxes, or I don't remember exactly. It's been a while. But anyway, to basically solve their problem and do it quickly. So with my story, again, there's kind of this zombie virus. They have to find a cure for it. They've kind of have the blueprint of that cure that they've got to figure out. They've got people they have to get it to, but we need to drive that story. And to do that, I'm going to be introducing some new story behind what this virus is, how it reacts, and there may be some limitations, and there may be a reason why they've got to find this cure quickly. They're running out of time. They've got to do that. So anyway, that's kind of what I've been thinking about today. Just brainstorming, jotting out ideas, trying to find solutions to those problems. And that's basically it. So that kind of is going to conclude today's episode. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Hopefully I'm not just babbling on. I'm still kind of getting used to this whole thing. I don't do a lot of stuff on camera like this. So bear with me. One of the great things about this is 100 days. So I'm hoping at the end of 100 days I'll be a little more comfortable doing all this, and I won't have to keep stopping the camera, collecting my thoughts, and just generally be a lot more comfortable talking to you guys. Again, I appreciate it. Bear with me. Hopefully I'll be getting better all the time, and we'll have some really cool stuff to talk about. If you have any questions, just ask them to me wherever you're watching this, whether it's on any of the social networks. I usually try to share to all those. Best place might be on the YouTube page, because that's where this originates. Thanks again. I will see you guys tomorrow. That is all.